You cannot mindset your way out of bad design. We often tell people to be more resilient, be more positive, and more adaptable, but behavior does not happen in a vacuum. It actually happens inside systems that reward some actions and quietly punish others. And if your workload is structurally unsustainable, there is no amount of positive thinking that can change the number of hours in the day. And if speaking up leads to being labeled difficult or chatty, people learn very quickly that silence is safer. And if speed is rewarded and learning is penalized, mistakes get hidden instead of solved. This is not a motivation problem by any means. This is a rational adaptation to the environment. In organizational psychology and in human factors research, we see this pattern over and over, where people optimize their behavior around what gets rewarded, what avoids punishment, and what protects their standing in the group. Not because they're disengaged for any reason, but because they're human, right? They're just human. And there is a classic safety principle that says if you want to understand why people break rules, you have to look at how systems make rule following harder than rule breaking. I think that's very important, and I'll say that one again. The principle is that if you want to understand why people break rules, look at how the system makes rule following harder than rule breaking. And the same thing happens in organizations. If the system rewards speed over quality, well, people will cut corners. If metrics reward individual performance over team outcomes, collaboration drops. If promotions go to the loudest voices instead of the most effective contributors, people learn that visibility matters more than impact. And then we turn around and we say, people lack accountability, people lack ownership, or people lack the right mindset. But mindset cannot compensate for misaligned incentives. Even burnout research shows this. Burnout is not just about personal stress tolerance. It is strongly linked to workload, lack of control, unclear expectations, and value conflicts from within the organization. So in other words, design problems, not attitude problems. Humans are incredibly good at adapting to survive inside whatever system they're placed in. We adapt our behavior, our communication, even our identity to fit whatever environment seems to be the safest or what is seemingly in demand. And so the better question really, it's not why are people so disengaged? The better question is why are we training them to be this way? What are we training them to do? Because systems are always teaching. They teach people whether it's safe to speak, whether learning is valued, whether mistakes are punished, or if they're treated as data, whether collaboration is real or just something being talked about in a meeting room. But if you want different behavior, you don't start with motivation posters on the wall or resilience workshops. They're a dime a dozen, right? You start with incentives. You start with workflows, role expectations, decision authority, and of course, psychological safety. And when systems support human functioning, performance improves naturally. And that is key here. When systems create chronic pressure, people adapt in ways that protect themselves, understandably, even if it hurts the organization in the long run. Performance is not just about what people are capable of doing. It's about the systems that we have that make things possible, sustainable, and safe for people to take part in.